transmuting powerlessness, disempowerment, and victimhood into empowerment and strength. Hello everyone, I am Jessica Delmar. It's been quite some time since I've recorded anything or posted anything over on YouTube or my podcast. There's been a few factors. My podcast recording equipment hasn't been working, so I'm actually recording this on my phone. I hope the audio turns out okay. The second thing is I've been called a lot over the last couple of years to really go inward because there's a lot of things that I myself have been working through, learning, and everything that I share with you guys, I first have to go through it myself. I have to go through a lot of this transformation myself to fully understand what it's all about, what these energy upgrades are all about, what's being anchored, what's being activated. So some things take longer than others. Some things are years in the making. Some things are months in the making. Some things are weeks in the making or days in the making, depending upon what I myself need to be clearing and healing and transmuting and activating. So there's a lot of different layers to everything. But anyway, I'm happy to be back and I'm happy to share a lot of the things that have been coming through. I've been sharing a lot of stuff over on my Instagram channel. So feel free to connect with me over there. And I will be sharing a lot more things on my YouTube and podcast over the next few weeks because a lot of information has already come through my writing. So for those of you who do know me, I bring through all of my information through writing first. That's how I connect and I bring it through in writing. And I'm able to really kind of grab hold of the information a little bit better through writing. And then I share it with you. The information coming through lately has been a lot about understanding the self aspect and the many different layers of the self and how we can evolve from our ego self into our more true self in alignment with our higher self, and that whole process that I really want to share with you. But for this recording, I want to share something that's been coming through regarding this month of August. So these August Ascension energies have been really strong and supportive lately. And what I've been really noticing over the past few weeks is these energies have been trying to support our ability to move more into empowerment. And in order to do that, though, for a lot of people, it has to show you the avenues that you have built disempowerment. It has to show you the foundations upon where you're creating disempowerment in your life and within your own self-identity, within your own self aspect. So I'm just going to read what came through. Over the past month, the Ascension energies have really been brewing to fully support your evolution into empowerment. And again, for many people, this means coming face to face with all of the ways that you have ever given your power away, or are feeding inner victimhood, or are feeling powerless. This is a huge energetic production because our social constructs are literally built upon the foundations of power. And the pillar of power is what leaves many people feeling victim to their own livelihoods. Our internal sense of powerlessness and victimhood was birthed the minute fear was introduced in our lives. For many of us, far back into our childhood and sometimes even before, such as before the womb or in the womb. So there is a lot of womb wounds. So again, our internal sense of powerlessness, disempowerment, and victimhood was birthed the minute fear was introduced in our lives. But it has been continuously nurtured and reinforced through every aspect of our lives, including our personal, work, society, government, etc., etc. Powerlessness includes the feelings of not enough, not having enough, not being enough. It includes the feelings of not having a choice when it comes to those in power positions or stronger personalities even. It includes the feelings of people pleasing. It includes the feelings of struggle within your own home, work, or environment, the very places that you should be feeling safe. It includes the feelings of not being safe, secure, stable. Powerlessness includes the feelings of not being free to do what you want to do or be who you want to be. It includes the feelings of hopelessness, as if everything is being taken away from you. It includes the feelings of being drained of your energy by your giving, and not receiving anything back. It includes the feelings of being stripped or feeling stripped, and so much more. There are so many layers to the inner workings of powerlessness, disempowerment, and victimhood, and every single person on the planet holds these programs in one way or another. This is because it is part of the woven intricacies of the 3D lower dimensional blueprint and construct, threads of things in power and threads of things that fall victim to that power. But powerlessness is such an illusion at this point. We know that it no longer serves us, yet the imprint is still strong within many people. So pay close attention to areas of your life, especially your choices and decisions, where you are not honoring your internal desires. Your intuition is getting stronger, but it requires that you honor how you feel and what you want in alignment with your highest good. But if you are consistently putting yourself on the back burner and putting all others before and ahead of you, then you are never going to reveal the layers of the true self that lives in alignment with the higher self. Putting others first is surely an honorable thing, but if it sacrifices what your intuition is telling you or how you're feeling, then you're not serving anything or anyone except your own powerlessness and disempowerment. We often think that our kindness and our ability to give is what strengthens us as human beings, but you must pay close attention to how you are feeling internally. If it is sacrificing your inner well-being and going against your inner voice, then you are only weakening your energy field and depleting yourself while others feed from your energy. Enough is enough. You are a precious commodity to New Earth, a resource that must be guarded with delicacy and care. You are not a free well for all to take advantage of you. So 1, be intentional with your energy at this time. 2, share your energy with those who deserve it and who share back with you. 3, trust your intuition. And 4, really be aware of when you are losing control of your energy. This often occurs when you feel powerless or victim to others or your environment. I felt an intense release last night that activated this sort of disempowerment, empowerment field of recognition within yourself and within your reality. And I was able to see for myself how it showed up for me in every single part of myself, my environment, and my reality, and ways that all of these things in my life were built upon my feelings of inner disempowerment. And essentially, these are imprints that were running in the background, even if in the foreground, I had done a lot of healing, I had done a lot of work, shadow work, etc. The imprints of disempowerment is so strong, it's like etched within a person's blueprint, because that is part of the 3D blueprint that you came in with as a human being at the time that you were born. But anyway, so I was noticing all of these sort of paths that are showing up right now, but have been built or created upon foundations of disempowerment. The reason for being able to see these many paths so clearly at this time is because it showed me that the New Earth Ascension energies are right now pulling all of these sort of foundations of disempowerment or powerlessness or victimhood, essentially all of your fear-based things in very, very deep-seated places. It's pulling it up from the ground for you to really see and notice and be witness to. And so as it started doing that more and more for me, I began to see and witness more and more of myself in all of these ways that disempowerment was still showing up for me. And the more that I saw it, the more that I began to recognize myself less and less and less. And so I had the question of, who am I now that I see so much of me has been built upon these false illusions of disempowerment or powerlessness? I do not recognize her. I do not even recognize my reality at this point when I'm able to see all of these things that were created upon the foundations of disempowerment. All the choices, all the decisions, all the paths that were made, whether it's people pleasing or any other decision, choice, or path that was made based upon disempowerment from a very, very early age. But at the same time, as I started kind of questioning again in my life, who am I and what am I creating? I began to see more stripped layers of who I truly am, even beyond all of the things that I didn't really recognize about myself anymore or my reality. More and more things that I did recognize more as truth started to appear more for me. And mostly what it was calling for me was to recognize areas that are showing up, that are built upon this false illusion of disempowerment or fear, essentially, in order to get me to see so strongly how to flip the switch and enlighten those very areas into empowerment. So you see, even if you may have foundations that are built upon disempowerment, powerlessness, or victimhood, all of it based on fear, at this time you can easily transmute those foundations into the exact opposite. And this is the empowerment of duality. So a lot of people talk about duality in a bad way and how duality is sort of the source of our suffering, essentially. But if we're able to understand alchemy and transmutation, we're able to play the game of duality in a little bit more, in a wiser way, in a way that serves you rather than does not serve you. And that's essentially where your new earth environment begins to take shape. So within duality, every energy holds an opposing energy. And until you see the depths of where those opposing energies have built where you are as a self and your life experience, you will always exist within the pool of opposition. So if you don't see the pool of duality and how one side of the coin essentially is the same energy as the other side of the coin, one side of the stick is the same as the other side of the stick, if you're existing in between, it's more like shallow ground, and you're not able to fully experience the opposing energies. But that's also why the opposing energies are getting so much stronger right now, because we're meant to go to each side of the stick. We're meant to see each side of the coin, and we can't see the full spectrum of the stick or the coin without visiting each of the sides, if that makes sense. Again, if you're just kind of wavering in between, then you're feeling the opposition a lot more strongly. Even if you do go to one side of the stick, yes, you feel that more strongly as well, but that's how you are able to then understand what the exact opposite is. So for a lot of people at this time, if you're struggling and you're going essentially to the bottom of the ocean, you're going to rock bottom, you're experiencing a lot of really unwanted things. To be honest, what had come up is this a self-proclaimed hell a lot of people are living in? Literally, they are living their own unique hell, if you will. Not to put it lightly, because a lot of people are going through really terrible things. A lot of people are going through a lot of struggle, a lot of challenges, a lot of suffering is happening for a lot of people. And there are a lot of different ways that a person suffers. So there's really no comparison in terms of what types of suffering are coming to the surface. But the point is that if you're able to really fully feel it, then you're able to also transmute it. You're able to alchemize it by knowing the exact opposite. And so it's the freedom that we've been asking for, the empowerment that we've been asking for, it's the expansion that we've been asking for, but we can't know those things without knowing the exact opposite of that, which is the suffering. So if you're going into the deep ends, the deep parts of the water, really keep that in mind, that it doesn't feel good if you're going into the deep ends of the dark part of duality, but it's also giving you a window into the exact opposite, because that is what you've been asking for. And playing in the shallow waters really doesn't do anyone any good at this point, unless you want to stay in that in-between place. So if you feel like you're in the in-between place, it's also an indication that you are more in shallow areas as well. And maybe your experience or your spirit is asking you to deepen, to dive deeper, both within and without. And that will help take you out of that sort of in-between stagnant place. Understanding your deepest and, yes, sometimes scariest parts of you and your experience, whatever you're going through, will give you the greatest insight into who you truly are and what power you truly have at this time. Oneness, love, and peace be with you.